What spectacular timing for this to happen. It's not just that this is fantastic news, it's that the timing is perfect. Literally, right as I'm about to go live, this happens. Just perfect. Perfect. Imagine Homelander when he's like, it was perfect. That's me right now. Donald Trump found guilty on all counts on the Stormy Daniels porn star hush money case. 34 felony counts he has been found guilty on. With my understanding, there is a potential for up to 4 years per felony charge. And from what I'm hearing from people in chat, due to, his position, this is a historic event, a president has never been charged, been found guilty of a crime like this before, and thus sentenced. So if he does end up serving any type of, time, it's going to have to be in some sort of private prison situation with Secret Service, effectively with a potential maximum of, 128 years of, house arrest, basically? Super house arrest. Hearing that voice say guilty 34 times was magical. I haven't seen any of that yet. I've only read about this from articles. So now it's time for me to bless myself. This has basically been me edging for the last hour and a half since this news came out, not looking at the fucking event, seeing the videos. So it's time to finally goon. No more edging. It's time for us to goon, chat. Let's fucking go.
We've got a verdict. Ari Melber.
We are looking at count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, guilty. Count 5, guilty. Those are the first 5 counts coming out of this jury finding Donald J. Trump guilty on the first 5 felony counts. Reading the rest as we are getting it from our court reporters.
Starting with count 6.
Count 6, guilty. Count 7, guilty. Count 8, guilty. And you'll see on the screen we're tracking ahead. Count 9, guilty. Count 10, guilty. Count 11, guilty. Count 12, guilty. Count 13, guilty. Count 14, guilty. Count 16, guilty. Count 17, guilty. Count 18, guilty.
Listen, I have one image that just demonstrates how I feel listening to this. I can't even put into words how this feels. I can only just show you this. This is me. That's me right now.
Guilty. Count 19, guilty. Count 20, guilty. Count 21, guilty. Count 22.
Oh. We've got
Control
a verdict.
R just,
Ari Melber.
is it Alt R? I think Control R just refreshes the page. Damn it. No.
Count 32.
Okay. Well, I think that's roughly where we were. Yeah, Stormy Daniels, she did it. Who the fuck thought that the Stormy Daniels thing that was last substantially relevant in the, realm of politics and the cultural zeitgeist in 2016. Who would have thought the Stormy Daniels hush money payments would be what takes him down? That it would be fucking Stormy Daniels. The resistance libs were right. Chat, it's happening. I am becoming a resistance liberal. And I'm taking you with me. Sorry, guys. You have no say in the matter. I'm turning you all into resistance liberals. Your I'm with her shirts will be coming in the mail shortly. You will wear them daily and out in public, proudly, with your chest puffed out and your shoulders back. Good posture. Will this tank his chances of winning, Zan? It could honestly go either way. The American people are fucking stupid, so it's very possible they see this as a validation of Trump's claims that everything's rigged against him, and they wouldn't be going after him so hard if he wasn't fighting for them. Instead of the establishment's goals or whatever, because a lot of Americans are stupid and populist. But then on the other end, there is polling that suggests the American people are smart enough to recognize a guilty verdict as a negative thing on him. And he is now a felon, to be clear. Now, until the end of the election, when Trump is, and forever really, when Trump is referred to, he will be referred to as former president and felon Donald Trump. The fact that he is a felon will be brought up in the debates with Biden. It will be brought up in campaign ads. And if he wins, he'll be the first felon to ever win the presidency, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Federal charges disqualify you for running for office. I don't... The problem is, though, disqualifications for running, like, I don't think it's ever been applied. Like, I don't think anyone's so popular that can't qualify for running has ever been able to get like that much support where it's like they got to shut it down because it's like, sorry, this guy cannot be president. Like, I don't know if it's ever happened before. Like, I don't know if they have the means to actually apply that rule or if they would just have to let him run anyway. I don't know. When people say they won't vote for a felon, they mean black people. Well, I mean, yeah, I imagine a lot of people are going to try to make excuses for how Trump, because he's a wealthy white man, must have been innocent here somehow, and thus this is all against him because why would he... Yeah, there's a lot of racists that are going to try to claim this is some shit. Xander Hall, take a coworker had was hush money isn't illegal. Thoughts on that? I mean, do people not think it's a problem that the president wants to hide secrets from the public so much he's willing to pay hush money? Also, clearly what he did was illegal. He was found guilty on criminal charges. He was found guilty by... I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to justify the findings of the jury, the decision of the jury. Anyone trying to say, well, you have to justify and defend the court decision. It's like, no, I don't. You're coping. He's guilty. He was found guilty. Cope. Oh my God, this is real. Yes, it is, Gold79. It is real. We're here. Started at the bottom and now we're here. We're getting out. We're getting out of YouTube hell with this one. Hush money isn't illegal, but they did it. The way they did it was illegal. Well, wasn't it the fact that Trump was caught on wiretap, like organizing? Like it wasn't that they paid in straight. If they paid in straight cash, I don't think it would have been illegal. But it was the falsifying of documents and then the use of company funds in a certain way that made it illegal. I'm sure it'll be explained more here. I don't know all the details, but that's my general broad understanding. It was particularly the document falsification. Yeah, the covering up, the falsifying of documents, that was the big crime. Not necessarily it was all about the hush money. That was the core of him doing that, but that wasn't the crime. That was just what made them do the crime. That's what they were covering up, or what they were doing to cover up the crime. Oh my God, Pepper T21. We'll get to that in a minute.
Guilty.
Thank you.
Count 33 and 34, guilty. That is Donald J. Trump, defendant in New York versus Donald Trump, found guilty on all 34 felony counts. That is the verdict here in this case.
Rachel?
Listen, it's a unanimous jury verdict, unanimous on all counts. This is a definitive and, this is an irreducible verdict. He can appeal. I'm sure he will appeal. But this is everything that the prosecution asked for from a jury that, by all accounts, took this thing very, very seriously. We counted the deliberation hours down here. Mm-hmm. The test here for us as a country...
No, I don't believe Donald Trump is a convicted rapist, is he? No, this is the first conviction a president has gotten, I believe. So I don't think he's been convicted of rape before. I think what he's been found, liable for are civil trials in which he's lost his claim that he didn't commit a rape. There were civil trials, or sexual assault, yeah, there were civil trials, but I don't think he was convicted of sexual assault. What? Wait, why is this... So, I guess because they're federal charges here, it's a felony. I guess that's the big thing. Trump is a convicted sexual assault? Damn. Man, there's just so much shit. It's it's a big ocean of scandal. I forget the last fish I caught from it. You know?
Is not about what happens on appeal and is not about what happens in sentencing. The test for us now as a country is whether or not this former president and his allies will have succeeded in trying to undermine the rule of law so that people reject this as a legitimate function of the rule of law in our country.
That is the core of it. Will Trump successfully convince his supporters, and even just the average American voter, that this is evidence that they are after him and that the establishment tries to shut down and destroy, with rigged court trials and rigged elections, anybody who is really trying to fight for them? Hopefully not enough Americans fall for that line because of this.
They have tried to delegitimize this judge. They have tried to delegitimize this court. They have tried to delegitimize these proceedings. They've even tried to delegitimize the laws that he was charged under. Those efforts are the test that we now have as a country. The people involved in bringing this case have been threatened and intimidated and had everything brought to bear on against them.
Remember yesterday when we watched the clip of Trump, braggadociously saying that he's going to tweet some mean stuff about the jury and the judge on Truth Social on that one video? Who was it? What's his name? Eric Trump? That Eric Trump recorded? And he's like, oh, I think I'm going to tweet something, or I'm going to Truth Social something really kind of mean right now. All cocky that he's going to get away with it. Man, someone must have used a metal utensil on Trump, because the Teflon's been scraped off. Shit sticks to him now.
In a way that was designed to delegitimize this process in the eyes of the American people. It is now in the hands of the American people to decide if we will accept those efforts or whether we will stand by the rule of law and recognize this as a fair proceeding.
A wise woman said a few nights ago, 2 Mondays ago, that the rule of law is mortal. It needs to be protected. It isn't an abstract thing. And today, the people have names that we've all come to know. They're named Joshua Steinglass. They're named.
Yeah, good wording, by the way, War Penguin. It feels so strange to be alive right now, currently, on a day that will be written about in the history books. Every time it feels strange. It really does. This is one of those days that I'm going to want to remember where I was, streaming, by the way, when this news came out, because this is gonna, our generation's kids are going to be reading about this in history books, and most likely their kids as well, and onward.
Alvin Bragg. They're named Susan Hoffinger.
Yeah. And there are other cases that are pending against Donald Trump as a criminal defendant. The difference is that we now know as a country what it is to put a former president on trial and to see that trial to fruition. That is something that was hypothetical before we ever had this guy as a former president. But now we have lived through it, and we know that the court process can work. A defendant who is a former president can be tried as a normal defendant. Again, the appeals process will go on. The sentencing process will go on, and those will all be pressure points. But the legal system in this.
And if it can happen to Trump, it can happen to any Republican or politician. Trump was, arguably the most untouchable.
Country treats any former president as any citizen. We've seen that today, and this jury deserves to be thanked for their efforts and to be protected from the kinds of attacks and intimidation and recrimination that the president and his allies have tried to bring down on this process.
Oh, man. I would be terrified if I was on this jury. I would be so scared at this point, oh, fuck. We've just pissed off the Horde. The Horde is now after us. Trump supporters will try to kill those jury members. At least a few Trump supporters will. You know how crazy they are. You select for the craziest of those crazy motherfuckers, and at least a few of them are going to want to try to do something to avenge Trump. I mean, hundreds of them tried to do, thousands of them did it on January 6th. Cope and Seethe, House Speaker Johnson, what's this? My statement on the President Trump trial verdict. Today is a shameful day in American history. Democrats cheered as they convicted the leader of the opposing party in ridiculous charges predicated on the testimony of a disbarred convicted felon. Well, Trump's also a convicted felon. This was a purely political exercise, not a legal one. The weaponization of our justice system has been a hallmark of the Biden administration, and the decision today is further evidence that Democrats will not stop at nothing to silence dissent and crush their political opponents. The American people see this as lawfare, and they know it is wrong and dangerous. President Trump will rightfully appeal this absurd verdict, and he will win. Ah, yes, because this time it won't be rigged. Just keep supporting Trump, guys. Each new thing is not going to be rigged if you support him hard enough, but everything he's lost is rigged.
Process.
Let me just tell folks what's happened. What Ari said or Andrew said would happen has happened. Judge Merchan went juror to juror to juror. They all concurred with the verdict that Donald Trump is guilty on all 34 criminal counts, 34 felonies.
Law and order.
They have been thanked for their service, Ari.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to tweet just in all caps, law and order. This every lefty needs to do this today. Law and order. There we go. For those who don't know, that's what Donald Trump tweeted in all caps just randomly one day in regards, like, I think trying to, like, convict Hillary Clinton because of the whole lock her up thing. So it's really funny. Just law and order. Quoting him, when the law and the order has come for his ass.
What you just reported and what Rachel was reminding us is actually existing in a microcosm within the trial because the jury is being polled, a jury of the peers.
Ironically, yes, this would be an episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Special Victims Unit also covers, like, when a celebrity is, like, involved in a crime or something like that, or a case. So it would make sense if they ever adapt this storyline, which they very well might, because a lot of their episodes, like, are based on, take that with a grain of salt, based on real events. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Law & Order SVU fucking does an episode inspired by the fucking president getting convicted on federal charges. Law and order.
Of the defendant, as is his right. So that's legally something where the defense counsel is asked, do you want to make sure? They almost always, virtually always say yes. And so we're told, and we're looking at our notes here, pardon me for looking down, but our reporters are seeing the defendant, Donald Trump, is looking at the jury, is watching them as they are individually polled. But this is, as Rachel reminded us, someone who has been held in contempt for what he has said and done against other people and witnesses in the system. So I would call that a fairly intense moment, but good for the jury and good for the system to go right through it. Our reporters also telling us that while Trump has rarely shown emotion or changed his, quote, demeanor throughout the trial right now, he's only looking down. Eric Trump reported.
Dude, if he was actually not worried about this, he would be, like, playing it up. He would be like, I don't care, and smiling and just, like, not caring. But the fact that it's clearly upset him, he can't even hide it. He can't even play it cool. I personally want to congratulate Donald Trump for finally winning a popular vote. That gets a like and a retweet from me. Actually true, though. It's funny because it's completely true.
Reportedly looking upset, and that's the scene in the room as they go through it.
Sure. When you say poll the jury, what you mean is individually, jurors by number will be asked, is this your verdict? And then they each have to answer orally. They have to say out loud, yes.
Yes, and that's the transparent.
It's got to be a scary moment for those individual jurors.
Right.
Do you guys want to know what face Trump was probably making the whole time when the verdicts were coming in after the first, like, 2 or 3 guilties? He was probably looking like, hold on, I gotta imitate his, like, tiny little butthole mouth. Hold on. Yeah, he was probably doing the shitting himself face. That's the most I can do. But his mouth gets so small. I've got to, like, scrunch my mouth more than my muscles and skin allow. Hold on. This is what Trump looks like. This is I'm guilty. I'm not guilty. I'm Trump. I don't know. You got to get, like, that fucking that little butthole mouth Trump has. that like slants downwards all angrily and pouty when he's angry, and his lip curls out, and then his chin, because he doesn't have any facial hair at all, his chin just gets all wrinkly and bumpy in that like old man way it does. Oh, it's just, oh, I can see it. I'm imagining it. I can see it in my mind. Yeah, it's the sound effect that played.
As they're being stared down,
Yes.
but it's a transparency in our system. You said something so important. The system worked. We discussed earlier when we were awaiting this that it works not because of the result, but because of the process. And that
Listen, I gotta say, this guilty verdict is a pretty good piece of evidence that for all of its faults, the system still has some level of functionality to it, you know? The bad people, even ones with insane amounts of power, can still sometimes be held accountable. And isn't it nice to know that there can still be good things, like justice does still exist, you know? Makes me happy. Makes me feel a little less doomer. It's not completely broken, right?
if it were an acquittal, we would be discussing that the system went forward. This is that system, and the judge and the bailiffs and others are there to protect the people and protect them in a physical sense as needed. But what we are hearing is that this jury heard the evidence, asked these questions. We know some of what was on their minds. We haven't heard from them other than the verdict, and now are confirming that this is their unanimous verdict. And so it's a matter of transparency that everyone sees each of them confirm what was.
There's no way he faces 0 jail time, right? On 34 felony counts, if he faces 0 jail time or prison time, that's just blatant, like, that's just blatant favoritism. And like, oh yeah, no, he was the president, so he doesn't really get in trouble. Like, yeah. Now we have a guilty verdict. What happens next? In a few days, sentencing happens. He hasn't been to sentencing yet. He's found guilty, and his sentence has not been decided, but he could face up to like 128 years in prison, but the prison situation would be different than like a public citizen, because he's been a president. He has Secret Service protection. They would have to transform, they'd have to build a building made to be the president's solitary confinement prison that is both meant to guard him and to guard the public from him, you know? So it would be like they'd have to make a building for this, maybe, potentially.
Officialized today that Donald Trump is guilty, that all 12 jurors unanimously reached that decision through their reasoning with each other on all 34 counts.
Andrew.
Can he run for president after his prison sentence? Didn't Joe Exotic run for president from prison? I'm pretty sure you can just run for president while actively behind bars. Like, I'm pretty certain that's just completely allowed.
Just to Rachel's point, there is something.
Yeah, no, it's completely allowed. Depending on the state that you're a resident of, Trump can no longer vote now. As a felon, I think he can no longer own guns, period, as well, like federally. Now that he's been found to be a felon, unless it's like appealed and completely rolled back, I doubt it will be. He can't own guns now, like at all. Like he can't. And he's a Florida resident because he lives in Mar-a-Lago. And he, you know, Florida has really good tax stuff for really rich people like him. So, yeah, he can't vote because he's a Florida resident and he's a felon, and they don't let felons vote there. So Trump can't vote. He can't get a gun. He has a gold 1911. He can never use a gun. He can't own it anymore. If it's his gun, like, if he continues to have it, he is committing another really serious felony or more for each gun with, like, way higher mandatory minimums for federal sentencing guidelines. And then on top of that, it's bad. It's bad. Like, it's not that he can't use it. It's like he has to give it up. Like, the ATF is probably going to have to come and, like, take his guns. It'd be hilarious to own Trump's old gun. That would be fucking awesome. The ATF will destroy all his guns, though. If they take his, like, gold 1911 and all of his other guns, I'm sure he's got guns, probably a lot distributed across different properties. They'll take all of his guns and they're going to destroy them and melt them down. They won't be resold or anything. They're going to be destroyed.
Thing in every trial when the jury is polled that is sort of magical and fundamental to this country, where the jurors, each one stands up and is counts as a citizen. And these are people who have everyday lives. They didn't ask to be here. And that moment where the country this is what the country.
Is it a gold 1911 or a gold Desert Eagle? Does he have both? A gold Desert Eagle, both. Okay, yeah. I mean, like, to be fair, if you're into guns and you're wealthy enough to afford one, a gold Desert Eagle is like the gun you get in gold, right? Like, if you can afford a Desert Eagle and you can get whatever plating on it you want, you get the gold plating on the Desert Eagle. That is the gun you get in gold. Every other gun, besides maybe a few exceptions, looks like shit in gold. So, like, but a Desert Eagle looks great in gold. I don't know what it is about it, but a gold Desert Eagle just, it looks amazing. The Geagle, if you will.
Stands for. This is what the rule of law means. And jurors take it so seriously. And yes, it can be scary because of it, but you know what? They did their job. And I think that this is a testament to our joining so many other democracies in the international community who have managed to hold political leaders to account. And we have shown that we can do.
I mean, we've held political leaders to account before in this country, don't get me wrong, but this is fairly unprecedented. Like the federal charges thing, that's the big record-breaking, unprecedented, now a precedent though, precedent-setting thing about all this.
Do that as well in a fair process where the defendant got.
Yeah, those 12 jurors are about to enjoy their lives in witness protection. They're going to be living in Nebraska, working at a cinnamon bun as a manager, if they're lucky, in about 6 months' time. And let's just hope no Trump supporters recognize them.
Extremely good counsel, had an incredibly fair process from this judge, in spite of his attacking the witnesses, the judge's family, the jurors. Everybody did their job. And finally, on a small bore, Alvin Bragg, both personally was attacked. He was vilified for saying no to this case when he first took office, and people said, that how could he do that? And he said, after he said it wasn't ready. And this is a real vindication for him that he said, I'm going to bring it when it is ready and if it is ready. And then
I like this a lot. Who remembers that one case that occurred where it was one of the closest times Trump could have been convicted of some serious charges, and like the prosecutor, it was either the prosecutor or the just the accusing lawyer, and the judge, in the midst of the trial, fell into a relationship, like a couple of fucking high schoolers. And then, like, quickly after, it came out the case was extremely rushed, poorly put together, and was arguably being done for nothing but to, like, satiate the American public's desire to see a case go down. And, of course, nothing solid was on Trump because it wasn't a well-put-together case. I am so glad we've not had a repeat of that this time. It was the Georgia case? That's what I thought, yeah. Fuck that judge and prosecutor. It was the prosecutor and judge? I think I'm right there. It's been like 4 months, maybe 5, since I like read about this. I think I got the details right there. It's been a while since I read about that. But that when I heard that like the prosecutor and judge in that case were in a relationship that started in the midst of their like case against Trump, like the trial against Trump, that really upset me. Like, oh my God, could you take your fucking job seriously? The most serious case you'll have ever done in your life. Can you take it seriously for once? Like if there's ever been a time to take your job seriously and not do that kind of shit, it's this fucking case.
He brought it, and it's a real testament.
Well, that fucking case. But I'm so glad we didn't get a repeat of that here.
Meant that he said, yes, now I think this case could be brought. And he did. And I think everyone understood from the moment David Pecker took that stand. I think a lot of people, including myself, reevaluated this case and said, you know what, I understand this is not just hush money. This was about fundamentally changing the 2016 election. That was the goal here. And clearly the jurors believed that.
Sue.
I'm also just now thinking about...
They're recognizing the pattern. It's not just being looked at as an isolated thing whenever it's in court. They're actually now recognizing the pattern in Trump's criminal behavior that suggests a wider scheme on his part, a wider criminal or like enterprise, effectively.
The E. Jean Carroll case, when the judge at the end told the jurors that jury was in.
I was the prosecutor and the attorney. My bad. Well, hey, I had the details almost correct. Like I said, it's been a good few months since I read about that.
Anonymized, and he said, "Forget you were here," in substance. And now today, the judge has actually said that they can discuss the case if they like. The choice is theirs, but they no longer are barred.
The choice is yours if you want to discuss the case if you like. If you're one of the jury members, I don't think any of them are going to. Like, can you imagine if, like, one of them had the balls to walk around wearing a T-shirt that says, "I was one of the jurors that found Trump guilty"? I should print out a shirt like that and wear it in public. Like, what? Like, it wouldn't even. It's not true, but it's just a shirt that says, "I found Trump guilty. I made Trump a felon," something like that, like front and back, just so no matter what angle, if a Trump supporter sees it, they're just gonna think I'm I'm a proud one of the jury members on that rigged jury. Yeah, I wouldn't want that level of harassment towards me. I feel like I dare you to wear that in Florida. The worry is getting shot, but I feel like the chances are they'd just try to assault you, and at that point it's like, well, you probably shouldn't assault people for no reason in Florida. They got laws for that kind of thing, brother.
From discussing it. And he's actually also asked to meet with them to discuss their work, not to discuss the case, but to discuss their work. So we don't know what time these jurors are going to get out of the building tonight, but he's going to sit down.
Yeah, become the lefty Kyle Rittenhouse. Just open carry at a protest with a shirt labeling myself one of the jurors on this fucking jury and see if a fucking Trump supporter comes at me with lethal force. Just do what Kyle Rittenhouse did, but on the left. It's a joke. It's a joke. That's a joke. It's a joke. FBI, Homeland Security, NSA, ATF. I can't think of any more three-letter acronym government agencies that come and kill you if you say anything on the internet they don't like. I don't know.
Down with them.
Yeah. ESG, DEI, SJW.
And after that, I imagine
CIA.
we're going to hear from pretty much every reporter that has been covering this 100.
No, you're trolling. Dark Canuck, you are trolling. There is no way that when Fox News announced the guilty verdict, they played a banner with a suicide hotline number. There's no fucking way. You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me. Trump, guilty, suicide hotline, Fox. No fucking shot. No, you're trolling. You're actually... No, that has to be a joke. Okay, nothing's coming up. Dude, that would have been... If that was real, though... Oh.
Hundreds of reporters will descend on them to try and get them to talk about the inner workings of that jury room.
Is Vaughn Hilliard still with us? Vaughn, just tell me
hey,
what
Nicole.
it,
yeah,
what,
I think
what's going on down there.
Yeah, I think part of this is what is going to take place from here on out. We're 5 months from the November election, and we talked about what a guilty verdict could mean to the stakes of this election. Donald Trump is repeatedly called November 5th the most important day in American history. That is election day coming up. And for him, this only increases the stake.
Dude, do you think he'll be able, like, they'll give him, like, a cell in, like a solitary building where he can live stream from? Like, what if he's serving time, but he also gets elected? Wouldn't that mean he'd have to, like, be president from prison? I guess he could veto, or not veto. Why did veto end up being the word that came to mind? What the fuck? I guess he could, pardon himself. Can the president pardon themselves? I guess they could. He can't acquit himself? Or could he not acquit himself? He can't overturn state crimes. So, state crime federal charges, Delancey? Is that correct? My understanding is these are federal charges. That's why he's now a felon, right? But they were state crime. Okay. Okay, cool. Just checking, just check. Yeah, no, to be fair, state crimes can be felonies, now that I think about it. Yeah, no, why was I confused about that? There are tons of things that are state crimes that are felonies.
Number one, these are state charges here. We do not know what his
sentence
will be. If it'll just be fine, probation, or whether he will be facing jail time. That is going to be the determination of judge.
Dude, imagine they fine him like $1 trillion just for the hell of it. That would go crazy. No prison time, they just bankrupt him. But, like, not in, like, the rich people sense, in the literal sense of, like, he has no more money. He is now a homeless man.
Merchan. And when you look at the election, of course, the expectation is that if you were to win the White House, that prison sentence, if he were to get one, would be suspended or whatever the punishment is here.
They build a jail cell in the, like, basement of the White House for him to be president from if he wins. Can you imagine?
But for Donald Trump, he has already sent out a fundraising video in the last 24 hours to his supporters that they were going to be throwing him in jail here in New York. And so for him, he has every intention of using this to his...
Yeah, state charges. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Ever since the Constitution has been written, it's been recognized that the president's power of pardoning is not so broad as to allow him to pardon himself. That's good to know. Yeah, you'd think the Founding Fathers were probably, like, smart enough to say, you know, the president probably shouldn't be able to pardon himself, right? Like, that might be a little too OP. You know, it might be a little too anti-America, the more we like, a little too king-like. Yeah.
A political advantage to the extent he can. And I think the first statement to come from any of his family members since this verdict was issued, I think is an example of that. That would be
it's a rigged verdict.
Who was not here at the courthouse today. He was here yesterday.
It wasn't Eric Trump. It was Don Jr. That's the video we watched, the little short from yesterday. The only person who can pardon Trump is the Democratic governor of New York. Oof. God, imagine, like, that person does it. Just, like, flops sides completely. Oh, that would be awful. I don't think that's going to happen, though. What's this? Oh, the Trump supporter meltdowns. Oh, we gotta binge these now.
Motherfuckers! These are all piece of shit! The judge is a piece of shit! The James is a piece of shit! They just killed our country.
Yesterday was the day of the cope. Today is the day of the rope. Breathe that air, chat. Breathe that free air that Trump is not going to be able to breathe anymore soon enough.
You just fucking let them. Bragg is a fucking pussy motherfucker. We're all owned by China. Welcome to your China owns You're Alvin Bragg. You're Alvin Bragg. Mr. Rodriguez. Officer Dillon is rolling in his fucking grave. Rolling in his grave. Officer Dillon is rolling in his motherfucking grave. Wait until we start spitting on you like Columbia University. You just fucking wait.
Okay, now making like was that not like a massacre that occurred? Wasn't that like a reference to a massacre? Was that not a murder, like a not just a murder threat, but a massacre threat? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he said, "We'll descend on you like Columbia University." Okay, buddy. Well, enjoy the firing line of police that'll be waiting for you when you show up to commit terrorism, buddy. Jesus Christ, these people are fucking stupid. Like, it's one thing to be, like, a dumb fuck Trump supporter. On the other hand, to then respond to that by, like, threatening terrorism on video. That's extreme, man. That's fucking crazy. I saw a fellow lefty already trying to downplay this and say the Gaza stuff is too important for this to focus on the trial because it won't affect Biden's chances a lot. Yeah, the lefties we're resistance libs now, guys. My resistance liberal arc has started, and now I'm making you all resistance liberals. You have no say in it. Put on the I'm with her shirt. You never get to take it off. It stays on during sex as well, and while you shower. I don't care. We're resistance libs now. This is Trump after walking out of the courthouse getting his guilty verdict. Oh yeah, see what he's doing? His little puckered butthole mouth is doing the like little downward thing. I can't. I'm Donald Trump. Oh, this is a beautiful jury. Trump jury. Oh, wait, they found me guilty. I hate them now. They're anti-American. Rigged. A rigged jury. Rigged jury. I can't do it. I can't do it, man.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge.
Holy fucking shit!
It's a rigged trial.
I've not seen this clip, and I predicted what he would say. Am I fucking precogging? What the fuck? Did I inhale spice? What happened? I shoot and I score, I guess. I don't miss.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at
A venue change. That's wild.
5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
The real verdict will be when I get elected in the rigged election that can only not be rigged if enough people vote for me, which isn't a rigged election, that's just an election. A rigged election is just whenever I lose. But the real verdict will be on election day. Lamau, he has 2 words in his vocabulary. He is very vocabularically limited, it seems.
And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man.
I'm a very innocent man. Oh my god, that line. How did he say that? How did he say that with a straight face? I'm a very innocent man. Oh, that goes crazy. I need that sound bited.
You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man.
I'm a very innocent man.
It's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country.
I'm fighting for you. They're trying to suppress me because I fight for the American people. This is the same line he always does, to be fair. Like, his messaging whenever he's in legal trouble is always this. Yeah, he's just a little guy, a little birthday boy, a small little bean. You wouldn't hit a little birthday bean, would you?
The country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win. Because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess.
I love that. Now it's Trump using the division line that was, like, in 2020 and 2016, really like a liberal line. Like, we're so divided right now. Now Trump's like, we're so divided right now. Like, what is this messaging? Also, why is he wearing a blue tie? Is that not weird for Trump to wear a blue tie? Like, Democrat blue? He always, like, there should always be a bit of red, right? Like, if I were a Democrat, I would never wear, like, a solid red tie. You know, like, if I was a Democrat politician, I would never just wear a solid red tie on, like, the inverse. I like, maybe a red and blue striped tie, or, like, red with blue accents, or blue with red accents, but, like, it wouldn't just be solid the other party's color. Especially, like, this just looks cucked. It almost looks like he's wearing a collar, like the Democratic Party collar on his neck. Like, they've got him by the neck. I wonder if it's, like, red on the other side. Like, it's one of those funny ties that you can flip and it's red on the other side. So you can trick people into thinking you changed ties, but it's still the same tie. Trump's the kind of guy to actually wear those.
We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists. And
this guy looks like he really has to shit or piss, probably has to shit, and is, like, clenching so fucking hard, hoping for this all to be over as soon as possible so he can run to the bathroom. I'm not the only one who sees it, right? Like, this guy has been clenching for over an hour. Like, he's getting to the edge by the looks of things. Like, I don't think he can hold it anymore. He looks very He looks like his tummy feel crazy.
They're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case. Never.
Dude, that judge is the one who decides your sentencing. What are you doing?
And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Dude, I think he might actually face prison time. Like, actually, though. Rip America is trending on Twitter. Man, you really know that, like, Twitter has a really big lean in favor of a certain, like, boosting certain posts when the current biggest trends on Twitter are rigged, Rip America, and sentencing. We also have hashtag state of play trending. Silent Hill. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll have to look into that after this. The other biggest news of the day. The state of play. Wonder if any Hightail news will have come out. May I give you some good cope, or some more cope now? Like, some massively good news? Oh, okay. That's not cope, that's hope. Dude, do we have any good videos of Trump supporters melting down? Like, outside the courthouse? Courthouse. Oh, we got another one. What's freedomnews.tv? Is that the best place to see these posts, I guess? Woman in town from England goes down to the courthouse in Lower Manhattan today to see the MAGA animals down there with her own eyes and is absolutely disgusted. No wonder America is a laughingstock because of these brain-dead morons. Dude, we're about to watch an English person see Trump supporters in real life for the first time. Dude, I need to get, like, a bunch of European and non-American, like, a lot more European and non-American friends and take them to Florida. To, like, the deep south regions of Florida where it's, like, every 3 to 5 minutes you're seeing a Confederate flag, like, displayed larger and more proudly than the American flag, where all the trucks have, like, gun and, like, Trump and, like, Confederate flag bumper stickers, and everyone is, like, just a cartoon character representation of a Republican. I need them to see it in real life. I need to take British people and fucking Spaniards and Canadians and all the Europeans and non-Americans I can think of to see that shit and just witness what it's like. Oh, this is gonna be good. Let's watch. It's like she's going to the zoo.
Disgusting, aren't they? What disgusting people.
What do you think about the response that happened? You were having a conversation with them.
Well, we were actually here purely for entertainment value. We're from...
This is the zoo for them! Oh my god! This is literally like... This is how I imagine some, like, English colonialist, like, fucking bush explorer Nepo babies would, like, go out to some, like, African village in the late 1800s, and, like, they would go and they would talk like this about, like, African villagers or something in some, like, racist, detached, dehumanizing way. Like, it sounds like that. I can imagine that scenario, only she's talking about the fucking conservative hogs outside the courthouse, you know, praying for Trump. So I kind of respect it, you know? It's way better in this scenario. Yo, Zan, you should have seen the foreign coverage of January 6th. It was like we were all children being shit-talked at a family barbecue. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough being an American in this day and age, man. It's rough. I showed my buddy, Balth, who's Canadian, the new South Park, like, special, like, the bit from the new South Park special explaining, like, the average experience of the American healthcare system and how many, like, doctors you have to talk to, how much paperwork you have to fill out, how many steps it is, how many different, like, follow-ups you have to do, how long it takes, how many different things you have to, like, talk to each other with insurance, doctors, and different, like, facilities that specialize in the thing you need for your doctor, all that shit, right? Getting prescriptions filled and paying for it and coverage. I showed Balth that, and Balth said pause after about 15 seconds and said, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you Americans don't just kill yourselves the second they tell you have to go to another, like, you have to go to a third location in order to get health care. Like just straight up said, like, I don't know how you guys don't just, like, after they tell you have to go to a third place, I don't know how you guys don't just go buy a gun and shoot yourselves. Because, like, that's honestly what I think I and most Canadians would do. I don't know how you exist like that. And my response was, you only go to the doctor or the hospital if you are bleeding. If you're vomiting, pissing, or shitting blood, that's a problem. You go straight to the doctor or the hospital if that happens. But outside of that, or if, like, you're actively gushing blood, you go to the hospital. But outside of that, you better be pretty fucking sure you're dying. Otherwise, you're just kind of... You're fucking yourself a little bit, you know? It's not as bad as people make it out to be. It is... The medical debt thing is not as bad as it's oftentimes framed. It is bad, but not as bad. What's really bad is the access to the treatment itself, right? Like, there's a lot of fucking steps you have to go through, and sometimes not having insurance at all can be easier and get you helped and fixed faster than having insurance. Because when you have insurance, you have to deal with insurance. If you can't pay for it and you don't have insurance, or you can pay for out of pocket, it's way easier, way faster. But even then, it sucks.
Cool. What do you think about the response that happened? You were having a conversation with them.
Well, we were actually here purely for entertainment value. We're from England.
Keep going, Joe.
Oh, God.
Take your
Get the fuck out.
Oh my god.
Fuck
so
the queen, fuck the king.
The queen died.
She's leaving. Just stop.
Fuck out of here! Burn in hell, you liberal fuck!
Alright, bro, she's out.
And we...
Dude, like, this reminds me of a scene from Planet of the Apes. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
Burn in hell, you liberal fuck!
Burn in hell, you liberal fuck!
Alright, bro, she's out.
And we enjoy watching...
What if you just, like, walked up to them and started saying, I love Biden, just over and over again? Like, I wonder if we could get... Dude, we should do that. Like, I want to do a fan meetup where we just get, like, as many people together as possible to, like, walk to the other side of the street of, like, a pro-Trump, like, protest type deal and just chant, we love Biden, and just to see how fucking mad they'll get. We need to all do the smug... Like, you know that one kid with the Trump hat that did the smug smile while the guy was, like, beating the drum in his face? We need to all do that face. We need to say, we love Biden. We love Biden. And just hit him with the smuggest, most punchable smile ever. And just hit him with that. Just hit him with that shit. Man, the left needs to troll more. Genuinely. IRL trolling, too. That's why I love Walter Masterson so much. He does that very well. He's probably at this courthouse trolling conservatives, and probably at the moment, right now, editing the video that's going to go out of him doing that.
Trump on the TV, and we cannot... John!
Oh no! Those primates are coming after us. Jesus Christ, dude. Man, this is funny as hell. We really are in the best timeline now. I take everything Doomer I've ever said back. Everything is good now. We're so back. Everything is perfect. Let's fucking go. I'm happy. No fucking way. Yep. This is the official VOT international Twitter account. This is one of the, like, I'm following it already. This is one of the boys' like promotional accounts. Breaking: Homelander has been found guilty of being a great father. Here's a recent photo from the courthouse where he was respectfully listening to closing arguments. We wish the jury well as they deliberate and decide to keep him #home free. This came out 1 moment ago. Man. I love that we're getting a new season of The Boys airing, like, right up against the election, too. Because The Boys is a very influential show, and of all the, like, on-TV shows that do political satire, it's probably the most topical. And I actually see, like, the internet move more to the left when The Boys is currently airing. I can't be the only one that notices this, right? Like, when The Boys is currently airing new episodes, the internet gets more generally left-leaning. Because everyone's primed to, like, make fun of the over-the-top representations of conservatives that aren't all that over-the-top, really, compared to real life, that you see in The Boys. Yeah, it's a progressive show, yeah. Starlight is a liar. I'm telling you, she's kidnapping those kids. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. It really, really helps a lot, and I super duper appreciate it. It helps a bunch, basically boosting my content and my channel and the algorithm, and it helps to grow the channel and helps with my success and my ability to keep on making content for you guys. So I really appreciate all of you who go out of your way to do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, don't forget to follow my social medias, which are all linked down below in the description. And do not forget, if you want to support me financially, you can always do so by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. You can also buy merch through the Streamlabs link down below. And don't forget, I have a Discord server, which is the main hub of my community, where I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties. And I also announce all my new uploads and streams, so make sure to join that, totally free, link down below. And I hope to see you there, and I also hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.